Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. Today I am kicking off an out of my comfort zone vlog. I do these a couple times a year where I just try to branch out, push myself a little bit, and read the books on my TBR that are a little outside my comfort zone. Today I have 4 booktuber recs from people that I really love and trust, but are a little out of my comfort zone to read. However, before we get into the vlog, I do want to let you know about the sponsor of today's video, which is Alney. Alney makes some amazing lights, and if you're looking for the perfect Halloween decor, look no further. I will show you how I used Alney lights in my apartment to give a little spooky vibe to my space, and I absolutely love them. They don't overheat, which sometimes the cheapo lights, like the lights on my bookshelf right here, no tea, no shade, they get really hot to the touch. I literally have freaked out about those cheap lights back there burning my apartment down because they get so hot. These Alney lights have a protective coating and they do not get hot. They're completely fine to touch. They use an environmentally friendly material to make them, which is great. And they get super bright, which I love that as well. Of course, they have all different styles, colors, and types of lights for every holiday, every season, every room. Right out of the package, it is super easy, super confined, and all rolled up. So all you have to do is stretch it out and attach it to the space where you want it. And it has a USB plug-in. You can use this little remote over here to turn them on and off and change the settings. They work for indoor, outdoor. They're super versatile. I absolutely love them. If you guys are looking for some affordable and really high quality lights for decorating this holiday season, I'm going to link Alney down below and you can get a percentage off with my referral link and code. Thank you so much to Alney for sponsoring this video. And now let's get into the vlog. Hello vlog. I have just been chilling in between work meetings and I actually am loving my first book that I picked up. I am reading A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers and oh my god, I'm obsessed. Like, I'm only a quarter of the way through, which I read it so fast, even though it's like pretty heavy on the descriptions and like has a literary style. I feel like it's just so easy to read. Got my highlighter out. I've been highlighting the house down. Like, it is so good. Basically, we're following a woman who has killed and eaten possibly men, and she's in prison. The story is told in reverse from her last kill that like led to her getting caught and going to prison, and then we're going back through her life in little vignettes and just memories, and there's like really great reflections on feminine rage and what it's like to be an adolescent girl, and like just like the life of a woman who is not content in the place that society has cast her. That's like the best short description I can give, and I'm eating it up. Like, I'm loving it. Between this book and my whole shirt, like, I feel like the feminist queen of the world. Like, I am living, loving, thriving right now. So, loving this book. Only a quarter of the way through, but so great. I mean, I've highlighted like at least 12 or 15 different things in 60 pages, which is kind of crazy. But also I wanted to show you this candle that I've lit here. Is called Recluse. It's by Brillo Candle Co. and it is from their fall collection. Ooh, oh my God, it smells so good. I'm obsessed with it. It smells like cotton candy, warm vanilla and cream. It literally, the best way I can describe it is like fall carnival, like classic fall carnival from like middle school, first kiss vibes, Ferris wheel vibes. I'm obsessed with it. And this Brillo Candle Co. is actually local to Austin, and the owner actually sent over their entire fall collection. This isn't sponsored or anything like that. I'm just very grateful that she sent me this fall collection, and I'm absolutely loving the scents, so I wanted to share it with you. This other one is almond, cinnamon, and honey, and it smells so good. This is like classic fall spices. Cameron always says he likes fall spice scents, but not pumpkin. So this is perfect. He smelled it and loved it. And then I kept this one in the packaging so y'all could see like how cute. I love the all black. And this is Katrina, the last one in their fall collection. It's cardamom, ginger, and amber. It smells like sweet, smoky, sexual almost. I don't know. This is like a very romantic one. Loving the entire fall collection, and thank you so much for sending me these. I love to support a local brand, so if y'all are interested, I will link these down below. Shop the fall collection. It smells so good. All right, vlog, I am about to jump into meetings and sessions for the rest of the day, so I will probably see you after work when I pick up certain hunger. Hey vlog, obviously I started this vlog today thinking, you know, I was gonna start a vlog today. I've got some like horrible news. I've literally just been sitting catatonic on the couch, unable to move, unable to process it. I just dissociated for 2 hours. It's safe to say, probably gonna abandon this vlog for a bit. So, if some time passes until I see you next, that is why. Hello vlog, it is like 3 days later. I have only read a little bit, but I felt like I was ready to start the vlog again. I've got my thoughts together, got my emotions together. So I am a little over halfway through A Certain Hunger now, and I'm still highlighting away. I'm literally using my highlighter as a bookmark because there's so much good content in here, like good little nuggets to take away. So I'm busy highlighting, but I will say the second chunk that I read, so I read like the first 25%, the second 25% was much more rambly, boring than the first 25%. It started out with a bang and I loved it so much. Now there's definitely less highlighting going on, less interest in general. I just feel like it's not as interesting as that kickoff, and I hope that trend doesn't continue throughout the book. I hope it hits a point where it picks up a little bit again, but we're just kind of going through this woman's relationships, and a lot of the relationship is just like, okay, I don't care, get to the wronging and the killing, you know what I mean? I like the commentary, but the rambling paragraphs about how they walked through the market, I really couldn't care less. So I'm enjoying the commentary, not so much the like narrative structure of it. But I will say this book is making me really hungry. Like, it has really great food descriptions, and you wouldn't think that from a book about cannibalism, but it's making me really hungry. So I'm going to continue reading this today on any break that I have from work, and it's so short. I only have like 100 something, a little over 100 pages left, so I should be able to finish it up today and give you guys my final thoughts. This is post-work girl essentials. Book about a woman eating men. Huge salad in a mixing bowl. Pumpkin spice latte. Metallica in the earbuds. Like, this is the moment. Hello vlog. It's been a minute. It's actually been quite a few days again. I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm having trouble keeping up with this vlog because I just have so many things going on in my life. There was like that thing that happened like a week ago now. Wedding planning, all the things. Yeah, it's a lot. I got new nails. I got blood drippy nails, which is awesome. They're still neutral, but you know, giving Halloween for this season, so I'm loving that. I also got 4 new tattoos, which I'm sure you'll see throughout the course of this video. My favorite one though is this matching tattoo with my boyfriend, not my fiance Cameron, my boyfriend. And if you know what this tattoo is from, then you'll know who my boyfriend is. And I'm also right now currently in a 4-day training for my somatic experiencing practitioner certification, which I've been going through the past year-ish. So I've literally been in trainings on Zoom for 8 hours a day, 4 days in a row. And I have today and tomorrow. So yeah, it's a lot, but I have been reading. So I wanted to hop on and update you that I finished A Certain Hunger finally, and I'm happy to report that the last third of the book was probably the best third of the book. I was highlighting furiously. Like, there are so many paragraphs highlighted, notes in the margins. Like, I fully annotated this book, which I don't do often, which tells you how much meaning there is, how much I got out of the story. However, there were quite a few little rambling tangents that I was just so bored at. I started skipping over them, and I really don't think it took away from the story at all that I skipped over them. Some stuff about food where it's like she goes into like the history of how this was made and why like I'm sure there's a metaphor in there, but do I want to read 3 pages about some meat packing plant that has nothing to do with the world of the book? It's just a history lesson on food, basically. No, that was the only thing that took away from this book for me. But other than that, I loved every single part of it. I love our main character. I loved following her history in this non-linear way. I love the commentary. I just absolutely love the twists and turns that the story took, the way that it unfolded differently than how you expected. I wouldn't call it necessarily like shocking, but there were a couple twists in there that really got me. So I really, really love that one. If it didn't have those rambly tangents, this would be a 5-star, but it does have those rambly tangents. So I want to give this a 4.5. I'm going to give it a 4.5 because if it just had a few edits, or maybe those paragraphs just kept my attention a little bit better, this would easily be a 5-star. So thank you to Cat Chats for this recommendation. I loved it so much, but also, girl, the way you got through those tangents, like, good for you. I do not have the attention span. And now I am on to reading and again highlighting. I've been recommended some profound books for this video. Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut. This was a recommendation from Aspen, from Aspen's archive. I will have her linked down below along with Kat and Deja. This is a classic, but if you don't know what Slaughterhouse 5 is about, basically it's following war, and it's just like a lot of commentary on war. We're following multiple people who have been through the war and are like dealing with PTSD. And when I say the war, I mean World War II. I have mixed feelings about it because in the moments of commentary, in the moments of meaning, I do really enjoy this book. I am about a third of the way through, and I feel like I've already taken a lot away from it. But the actual plot is like giving nothing. Like, it's very hard to follow. It's very, again, tangential. There's really a very tenuous through line. I feel like I'm following it, but I'm just always on the edge of like letting go of it, if that makes sense. Not a lot of character descriptions, not a lot of character relationships, at least at this point at the third mark. So I don't know, there's not a lot to attach me to. I could definitely see myself putting this book down and returning to it a lot, but I'm enjoying the experience of it when I do pick it up. I also don't care about war. I don't care about men. I don't care about like the general stuff that's going on in this book, so it's just hard to capture my interest. I think that says a lot for when my interest is captured. It means that, you know, the commentary is really good and the mental health pieces, the PTSD pieces are really standing out to me and keeping me engaged. But everything else, I feel like this would take a couple reads for me to really, really fall in love with it. The first pass of a classic for me is always kind of difficult. And I'm also grappling with that idea of like, okay, well, this has to be a 5-star read because it's a classic and it's like widely beloved. And people in the comments are going to be like, you only don't like that book because you're stupid and you didn't get it. So I'm trying to fight through that and recognize like some classics could be low rated for people because reading is in fact subjective. I don't know. Those are all my rambling thoughts on this one. I am going to continue reading that as my little like break to break up my training. We have little breaks from the Zoom and we're on one right now, so I will probably read some of that book, and I think I'm gonna make some spooky Halloween themed brownies as a little treat to reward myself for getting through the past week. So let's go do it. Hello vlog, I am done with my training for the day and I got about halfway through Slaughterhouse-5. Kind of still feeling the same, although there is a more solid through line once you get to the halfway point, which is helpful. It's very like taxing. Like you really have to think about it. I'm actually reading this at a really apt time. Like I'm glad I'm reading it while I'm going through the training because it has a lot of implications like with trauma and spirituality and things like that. It's just like a very conceptual read, which is why it's a classic. It stood the test of time. So I'm excited to get more into it, but right now we're actually going to see Saw X at the theaters and I'm so excited to go see it. So I'm sure I will give you a review when we're back. How do you feel?
Feel good.
You excited for Saw?
Very excited.
Saw is his favorite horror movie and he's very happy about his fit with the panda. Those are pandas, right? Mm-hmm. The pandas, the little sweatshirt. I bought him this sweatshirt and he's obsessed with it. So, and the new stash mullet combo, he's slaying. Ladies, just tell him in the chat he needs a chain, right? Oh, okay. Okay. Hello vlog, it is later. We are back from the movie and I for one am severely disappointed. I don't think Cameron's as disappointed as I am, but he's also like a Saw stan, so he's gonna be forgiving. He has a whole theory about the movie. Me, I just simply think it fumbled. Like I simply think it fumbled. First of all, the setup was way too long and way too fucking boring. I literally fell asleep. I usually go to like 10:30, 11 o'clock movies and we don't get out until 1 in the morning and that is totally fine with me. This was a 6:30 p.m. movie, okay? There's no reason for me to be falling asleep in the theater unless it's boring, and it was. And I'm gonna go on like a little mini rant with light spoilers. So if you don't want to hear that, you can go ahead and skip through this clip. But if you're a horror movie fanatic and you want to hear my opinions on Saw X, here you go. Why were there so many plot holes? Why were there so many plot holes? Like, I'm just wondering, what was the point? Like, the whole plot, the whole through line of the movie, the thing that wanted to get me to buy in was underscored by the whole rest of the plot. Like, I just don't see the why. I don't see the meaning in it. I thought it was so uninteresting and so lazy. The amount of plot holes that there were, is just, there's no excuse for it. And to have a cliffhanger ending after all those plot holes, like, no. If you're gonna have something that seemingly doesn't connect, then it needs to all come together at the end. But if you're just gonna walk away and make me wait for what, another fucking sequel so you can get more of my money, like, that's just cheap. That's the same fucking thing that they did with the Halloween requels that pissed me the fuck off. Don't love that. Also, here's the thing, the traps were cool. That's the thing of Saw. Like, the traps, the little configurations, like, those are always cool. The game element is always cool. Those are the only times during my viewing experience that I was engaged with the movie. But why did two traps that were back to back from each other have the same outcome? I don't understand. Like, we need some variance. We need some interest. Like, the girl who was sawing her leg and then the blood was filling up and we were waiting and it just didn't fill up, so she died, was the same exact ending as the task directly after, where the guy completed his task, cut the brain matter, and we were just waiting for it to dissolve in the enzymes, waiting, and it wasn't enough, so he died. Like, why would you have that happen twice back to back? There are so many other different options that I can think of that would be more interesting, keep the audience on their toes. Like, it literally doesn't make sense. I feel like someone wrote this in their sleep. And don't even get me started about the aspects that were like, oh, I think we're just gonna do this and like throw this in there because it's edgy and because it'd be crazy. Like, literally show me the gore, the guts, like all of the things. I need it, but don't just do something for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're just gonna throw a fucking random ass kid in here for what? Like, I wasn't even disturbed by what happened to the kid. If you're gonna throw a kid in there, really make something fucking happen to this child, because I really wasn't worried about the kid. The blood, waterboarding, like all of it, it just seemed like it was cheap. It was for shock value, and they did not care about the driving force of the movie or the character development. Like, even Amanda, we've known her for movies and movies and movies at this point. What, like 12 fucking movies we've known Amanda and her backstory? Why did I feel like she wasn't developed at all anymore? She was just this bumbling, fumbling crony who's obsessed with John. Like, why was there no further development? What did this movie tell me about her? Little to nothing. It's just like, the only people who I think are gonna like this movie are the same people who like the extreme horror books that I don't like, which is fine. You can have different tastes from me, but I need a little something more than shock value. It's not enough, it's lazy, it's boring, and fuck you. So that was much more of a passionate rant than I thought we were gonna get, but those are my thoughts. Unfortunately, now I'm gonna go ahead and pick this book back up and I will let you know what I think. Hello vlog, it is the next day, the last day of my training, but before I get into that, I just wanted to update you on Slaughterhouse 5. I'm at the 75% mark. The biggest thing that's standing out to me, other than like, you know, really working to try to interpret the book, I definitely am gonna need multiple reads of this to really digest it, is like the male coding. I don't know, like it's just like so aggressively from a man's perspective, and obviously there's nothing wrong with that, but it just is so hard for me to connect with. A lot of the themes and the commentary reminds me of Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf, and I much prefer that one. That is actually one of my favorite classics that I've ever read. So if you're interested in this one or you like this book, I would definitely recommend Mrs. Dalloway. And if you like Mrs. Dalloway, like me, maybe you would get something a little bit different out of this one, but it's not really giving me too much. I'm gonna be real. I'm not loving it. I'm sorry, Aspen. Do not hate me. Do not cancel me, but that's just how I feel. Ooh, that's just how I feel. Okay, I'm literally so tired. I'm delirious, but I'm gonna go back into my training and let you know what's going on when I'm done. My training is over, finally. Oh God, it was very valuable and I learned a lot, but also like that shit is emotionally draining. Like I am so dead. I'm feeling so dead, but I do have a reading update for you. I finished Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut, and I definitely need to digest this more. I feel like I need to discuss it. I need to read commentary about it. I need to reread it in order to have like full informed thoughts. But just as it sits now, like thinking about my enjoyment of the book, I would literally put it right down the middle at a 2.5. I'm so sorry. I know this is gonna be heartbreaking for Aspen, so I am so sorry, but on the first read, it was just giving very dry, very like men doing things, and I'm not really into men doing things. I did like the mental health lens and the like commentary, the examination of human beings and how we are and why we are that way. Like I appreciated that, but the story was not engaging. And for me, I need elements of a fictional story that I personally find engaging and appealing in order to like get on board with the commentary fully and care about the characters and things like that. And I just didn't have that. So I'm gonna land on a 2.5. Honestly, I really do want to give this a 2-star, but I'm giving the 0.5 because I know that it's a classic for a reason and it has potential. So that's where I'm at. And next up, I'm going to get into Deja's recommendations and start out with Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. This is kind of a meandering, a little bit plotless from what I've heard, horror book about a woman who is a researcher and she goes under the sea like to go do some research or something, and when she comes back to her wife, she is forever changed. She's very different than when she went under, and her wife is trying to figure out exactly what happened to her. I guess we will see. I guess I am about to hop on to my book club live show for September. We are discussing our book club pick from September, which was None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. So I'm gonna hop on there, and we always do cute little sprinty sprints after we have our book club live discussion. So I will get started with that book on there, but first I need to eat. I hope I have time to eat. I gotta cook, but I'm starving. Hello vlog, it is after book club and sprints, and during sprints I got about halfway, actually a little over halfway through Our Wives Under the Sea. This is a super interesting one. It reminds me a lot of Feed Them Silence by Lee Mandello. If you took that one on my recommendation and you liked it, you would definitely like this one as well. Like I said before when I was giving the synopsis, one of the women went underwater. She's like a researcher and her submarine had an issue and she was stuck at the bottom of the ocean for this long amount of time. But now she's back and she's acting weird. So we are kind of jumping around in time. with the wife as she's trying to piece together what exactly happened to her while she was underwater, and she like is grieving the loss of the partner that she loved so much and now like doesn't have because she came back so weird. And then we're also following the actual lady who was underneath the ocean's perspective and what happened while she was down there kind of trying to piece things together. It is very plotless. There's not a lot to it. It's just very atmospheric and haunting and creepy, but not a ton of plot. I'm intrigued, but I'm not connected, is what I will say. I'm not feeling like an emotional connection to the story. I like the women. I like what they have to say. They have interesting personalities, but I don't feel like a real pull to care about them. So those are my thoughts on Our Wives Under the Sea at the halfway point. It's a really short book, only 220 pages, so I will probably finish it up tomorrow, or maybe I'll do a little bit more reading tonight. I don't know, but I am feeling super drained from my training, so I'm gonna head to bed soon. Hello vlog, it is the next morning and I just got up, made myself a pumpkin chai and finished Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. It was a really quick read and it was just so atmospheric and like fluid. Like that's the best way I can describe it, is like the story felt so fluid that I just wanted to keep flipping pages and keep reading it. I compared it to Feed Them Silence. This one has a much better flow than that book. That book, although it was short, was harder to get through. And the themes and even the endings are really similar. So I'm finding myself wanting to rate this one kind of in comparison to how I viewed that one. Overall, I liked the writing in here better, but I liked the characters better in Feed Them Silence, and I liked the meaning / commentary better in Feed Them Silence. I liked the commentary in here, but it just wasn't as interesting to me. Like the blood and gore and guts of the wolves and exploring parasocial relationships was a lot more intriguing to me than the like haunting unknownness of the ocean and the commentary on grief, which was mainly in here. And the commentary on grief was beautiful. I just didn't feel super connected to it or the characters. It definitely was not a bad book. I just don't think it's resonating for me as deeply as it could. I do like the queer representation. It was fun at some points. It was like had this little funny like joking nature to it, as if we were like in on a joke with the characters, and I did enjoy that. It just didn't feel as scary as I wanted it to, and I could tell like some concepts in theory would be scary. They're just not personally scary to me. I don't know what it is. I'm just not bothered by like the vastness of the ocean. Like, all right, so there's crazy shit out there, like, okay, I'm probably not going to see it in my lifetime, and if I do, then that's the way I was meant to go. You know what I mean? It just doesn't bother me like something else might disturb me. And I was kind of looking to be disturbed because it was a disturbing situation in theory to be, you know, lost at the bottom of the ocean in a submarine. But it didn't hit with that impact. What I got out of it was the atmosphere, and the like flow of it was really interesting, and then the commentary on grief was really interesting as well and beautifully written. I think I'm gonna land on a 3.5. Not quite to the level of like 4 enjoyment, but definitely better than a 3-star book. I hope Deja doesn't hate me for this one. I don't think it's a bad book at all. It's just not resonating as deeply for me. And now we're going to move on to my last book of the vlog, which is also another Deja recommendation that I got while she was in town. So I'm going to be reading Slewfoot by Brahm. It's a tale of bewitchery, apparently, and this is way out of my comfort zone. Okay, this is historical. I don't ever read historical. It is fantasy-ish, which I don't read a lot of that. It's gothic-ish, which I don't read a lot of that. I don't know. Like, let me just read you this. Set in colonial New England, Slewfoot is a tale of magic, mystery, triumph, and terror. An ancient spirit awakens in a dark wood. The wild folk call him Father Slayer Protector. The colonists call him Slewfoot Demon Devil. To Abatha, a recently widowed outcast, alone and vulnerable in her pious village, he's the only one she can turn to for help. Together they ignite a battle between pagan and Puritan, one that threatens to destroy the entire village, leaving nothing but ashes and bloodshed in its wake. I don't know how I'm gonna feel. I'm very skeptical because, again, all of these books pretty much are out of my comfort zone. So we will see. Hello vlog. I obviously look very different. I am a vampire now. I haven't read anything because my workday was literally insane. Just got off, got ready, and we're about to go to a little Halloween influencer pop-up, have a little moment. I'll show you the fit. Okay, here she is with the tall boots. There's Mochi in his little pumpkin costume being the sleigh as always. And yeah, we're gonna go have a good little time. Halloween pop-up moment. Good morning. Oh my god. Well, why does this always happen? I swear to God. I swear every single time I go to an influencer event, I'm like, we're just gonna have a couple of drinkies, get our content, and go home. And then it's that TikTok sound that's like, goddamn! Like, I am very, very, very hungover. Not as bad off as Sierra. I don't know what happened to her. We were literally up all night. I was holding the hair. It was all going down. Once I get Whataburger in my system, it's like, whoo, got that dog in me. Like, I'm fine. I'm healed. Sierra went in the other direction. So we just came back, watched The Craft, and I held her hair over a mixing bowl, as we do, because that's what besties do. So needless to say, I have no reading update for you. It was just a wild night last night, but I have some changes. Okay, I'm changing my TBR for this video. I am just not feeling called to pick up something thick, historical, slow-paced, like, no. I feel like all three books that I just read were slower paced, more literary. I'm done stepping out of my comfort zone in that way. I'm going to still read another book for this video, but it's gonna be out of my comfort zone in another way. So actually, as I was getting ready for the day, I was watching Rose from Flower Reads a Lot video about her little book bracket, and that was so cool. That was such a fun video. I will link her channel down below. You should watch that video and a ton more of her videos. She is just awesome. I really love her. And I noticed in her bracket of her best books of the year, she had quite a bit of manga, and I was like, I don't read manga. I think that would be very far out of my comfort zone, and I have one on my shelves that was actually also recommended to me through booktuber recommendations. So we're still staying on theme. This is out of comfort zone, and this is booktuber recommendation. So I am going to read the first book in the Spy Family series. I don't know, do you call mangas series? I've thought about getting more, but I don't want to really invest in the series series until I know that I like at least the first one. And the thing is, people are like, oh, it doesn't get good until the third or fourth, and I'm like, no. See, that is not going to work for me. So I don't know. I might have an unpopular opinion on this, but I've heard so many people love it. I know Gabby Reads loves this book. I know Katie Colson loves this book. I bought it because of them and their recommendation. I'm literally gonna have to Google how to read a manga. I'm scared. Okay, I guess I will get into this and let you know what I think. Last minute changes, we're switching it up. Deja, don't kill me. I'll let you know what I'm thinking. Girl dinner. Girl dinner. We got a girl dinner. Girl dinner. Hello vlog, it is the next morning. It is like a super rainy, dreary day and the temperature is down to 72. That is insane for early fall in Texas. I am so happy. I am living my sleigh. I am ready to get into Halloween books. Although I did start Spy Family, which isn't really Halloweenish, but it is the first manga that I've ever read and I'm having such a fun time with it. I started it last night when I was taking my spooky little bath. It was so fun. It was just light and adorable. Like, it has so much heart to it, which I did not expect. I am over halfway through. I'm at mission 3 out of 5, and basically in this book we're just following a spy who has to do this undercover mission, but the mission requires him to pose as having a family. So he's recruiting a like fake daughter and fake mother of the daughter that could be his like fake family as he carries out this mission. And the daughter has telepathy and the wife is an assassin. So every individual character just has their own little quirk, and we're seeing the ways that they are like faking a family but then obviously feeling real emotion throughout the course of it. It has so much heart. It's funny, it's gripping. I love the characters, and very, very little is actually said. I didn't know that about manga. I'll show you like a page. So this is like the typical amount of text on a page, which I thought there was going to be a lot more, but it's basically just dialogue. So you're getting the bulk of the story from the pictures, and it plays out like a movie in my head. I'm seeing it as like, you know, the like cutaway scenes from like Spider-Man or something that are like a comic book. It is giving that, and also it was very easy to learn how to read. I just Googled it and I figured out what the coma, I believe, are called. So you read it from this way down, which is just the opposite of the way that, you know, you would read a novel in English, but it's really, really interesting and I'm really liking it. I'm so glad that I stepped outside of my comfort zone and that I, you know, followed my little mood reading taste and went for this rather than something slower paced that might have put me into a slump. I'm sorry, Deja, I will read Slewfoot eventually, but thank you to Katie and Gabby for recommending this. I am going to finish up this book today, give you my final thoughts, and let you know if I'm going to be finishing this series. I will see you then. Hey vlog, it is much later. I had a break between sessions and I was able to finish up the first volume of Spy Family, and I absolutely loved it. It was so sweet and there were so many little learning lessons in there. It had that little touch of like magical realism of the powers that the family has. It had the little touch of like over dramatic, hyperbolized, like almost like anime-esque action and characterization. I just absolutely loved it. I had so much fun with it. I'm literally gonna run to Pango Books right now and try to find all the rest of the series. Is that what you call manga things? It's like series, or is there another name for it? I don't know. Let me know if you know. But yeah, I'm just absolutely in love with it. I'm in love with these characters. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. There is not much better that it could have done. I will have to get used to the short quickness. Like, not a ton happened in this book, and it was very, very quick. But I guess that's why there's tons and tons and tons of manga editions in the series or something. Volumes. Aren't they called volumes? I really liked it. I'm gonna land on a 4.5. I'm so surprised, and I'm so happily surprised. That was so good. Also, I mentioned that I'm gonna get the rest of the series on Pango. I actually have a Pango ambassador code. This is not sponsored by Pango at all, but I did want to mention that that is linked down below. If you shop on Pango often and you want a percentage off code, I have one now, so that is down below. But yeah, that is going to be it for this little taste test video, trying out some out of my comfort zone recommendations from some of my favorite booktubers. If I had to rank them, I would definitely put A Certain Hunger at the top. Kat's recommendations always really hit for me. I feel like we have super similar taste for the most part, so I'm not surprised by that. And I would rank Spy Family underneath, which again is not a surprise. I really love Katie and Gabby's recommendations. I don't always align with them. Actually, sometimes I'm the total opposite from them, but here we definitely align. Ranked underneath that, I would put Our Wives Under the Sea, which is kind of surprising because Deja and I usually align, but with the content of the story and knowing Deja's taste, I understand why it clicked a lot more for her than it did for me. And last on the list, I'm gonna put Slaughterhouse-Five, Aspen's recommendation. And here's the thing, it's a classic. I read it during being in a training. It was super heady, and I really have to reread the book and take a step back to digest and let that integrate. I think it just went over my head, and the actual content isn't what I'm usually drawn to, but I pretty much enjoyed everything that I read for this video. So thank you to these creators for your wonderful recommendations, and thank you to you guys for watching this. Don't forget to check out the Olney lights linked down below and use the code to get some money off. Decorate your house for Halloween, decorate your yard. They're indoor, outdoor, so nice. And don't forget to go to therapy and read a book this week. Thank you guys so much again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!